Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Simon Timpley from the International Food Safety and Quality Network. I'd like to welcome you to edition 33 of the Food Safety Fridays webinar program. Delighted to say today's guest presenter is Vladimir Suchinsky, project manager from Quality Austria Centre. It's Vladimir's fourth presentation this year, fourth and final one, and we've had some great presentations from Vladimir, so really looking forward to that. I'll introduce you to Vladimir shortly. Thanks once again to the sponsors who help us to bring these webinars to you each week, free of charge, with a free certificate of attendance and slides and videos, etc. Thanks to Trace Analytics, IFS, FSSC, and Safe Food 360. So thanks to the sponsors. Vladimir is with us, looking great. Vladimir, nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Hello.
Yeah, we're looking forward to your presentation today. Do you want to, in your background there, Quality Austria Centre, do you want to give us just a little overview of Quality Austria Centre while you're on? while you've got your background there,
yeah,
just give us a little.
While I have a background, so if you can see, Quality Austria is a certification body, but it is also responsible for the training and certification and evaluation, etc. And behind me, it is said that we are partners for the integrated management system. So Quality Austria works all over the world, and later on through the presentation, I will also talk about Quality Austria and everything about all of our auditors and partners, etc. So
superb. All right, I just wanted to, while you've got your nice screen on the background, I thought I'd just give you the opportunity. All right, thanks for Vladimir. Sorry for putting you on the spot. Okay. If you could get your presentation ready, Vladimir, while I just talk about next week's webinar. Next week, we've got the return of Oscar Rodriguez Gonzalez, who's going to be talking about integrating management systems, food safety, quality, and sustainability. Obviously, organizations now, we don't just have food safety systems, we might have to have, let's say, ISO 9000 quality systems, environmental standards, sustainability, health and safety. They're coming at us from all angles. But obviously, if you have them as standalone systems, it's inefficient. Well, it certainly takes up a lot more resources than when they're integrated. So Oscar's going to be giving us some ideas how we can use our resources more effectively and perhaps integrate our systems. Going to give us some tips. So that's a great presentation next week. Just to say, the webinar is being recorded today. This live webinar is being recorded, and within 24 hours, we always aim to send it within 24 hours. We send you an email to all registrants with the video, the slides in PDF format, and the certificate, etc. So don't worry if you miss a little bit. If you can't read a slide or something, you will get the whole lot bundled up within 24 hours. That's what we try to do. That's all from me for now. There's a couple of polls. We want you to chat and join in, ask questions, and take part in the polls that we've got throughout the presentation today. And I'll be involved with that. Apart from that, I'll be back for the Q&A later, and I'll hand you over to Vladimir. Okay, mate.
Okay, thank you, Simon. And hello again, and nice to be here with you today. And thank you all for logging in and to see this presentation. This is for practical presentation and last one from me for this year, but not the last, for Food Safety Fridays. And so today we are going to talk about food safety from store to belly. With you, as Simon said, is Vladimir Suchinsky. I have more than 500 audits for the last Serbia, in more than 400 retail stores in 3 countries. Also, I'm a project manager in Quality Austria, and with more 200 audits as auditor for different standards, but my specialty is in food safety standards. And I'm also a trainer for food safety standards with more than 1,000 people trained. Earlier, I had a presentation on which I'm very proud of on IFSQN. It is the emergency preparedness and response, traceability of food in restaurants and fast food, and safe food with healthy food. And today we are going to talk about a little bit further. So I work for Quality Austria, as Simon said, and trying to present it behind me, but I'm going to just show you that Quality Austria is a limited company for training, certification, and evaluation, and it was founded in 2004. It has a close relationship with other partner organization and 50 partner and member organization with own offices and exclusive partners. And Quality Austria is also represented on site in Eastern and Southeastern and South Europe, Asia, as well as in South and Central America. Quality Austria Center is regional partner that is located in Belgrade in Serbia, and we are responsible for countries like Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, Croatia, Bulgaria, etc. Quality Austria covers the 3 business areas of certification, evaluation, and validation, provides training and individual certification, as well as information, expert knowledge, and services. It has more than 1,000 auditors, trainers, and assessors, and of course, technical experts that combine know-how specific to standards and sectors with some significant focus on practical issues. And we also have more than 12,000 clients from different sectors, which is, of course, a great thing. So today we are going to talk about food safety from store to belly. And in the first, I want to focus on some demands and standards that are developed, but specifically for food safety, store or retail. Also, we're going to talk about some food safety buying facts, about some trends in retail for 2015 and also for 2016. We will see how looks the customer view of retail food safety, what are the habits for buying safely, what is the food safety on the way home, and of course at the end we're going to talk about food safety at home. So I think that today we're interesting things that we are doing maybe every day. So please listen good, and at some parts of the presentation, Simon will give you the poll, and there is some interesting questions, so we can start also some kind of short discussion. So if we look at the recent recalls, at any news on the internet, etc., we can see the involvement of the big retailers, since all products were bought in retail stores. And the first point then for customer complaint is the place where product was bought. So if we look at the, I don't know, cucumbers recalled because of salmonella, or a million chickens products that have been recalled also due to salmonella, we can also see in that articles that there is a lots of retailers where the recall was performed, and this means that the first thing, or the consumer complain at the retail. So we can say that when a product makes a consumer sick, they do not blame the food manufacturer, they blame the seller, be it a restaurant or a supermarket. So they blame the place where the product was bought. In order to just have a safer product, or to have a food safety, food retailers had to do something. So the most important food regulator here is the retailer, for example. So more than any other link in the chain, food retailers are universally recognized as the most influential monitors of food safety. And this is very simple. So we have decades of experience that have shown retailers that when a product makes consumers sick, they do not blame the food manufacturer, they blame the seller. And years of bad experience in trying to pass blame to food processors have convinced food retailers that they have a critical interest in monitoring food safety. So food retailers are the first, and they have interest in monitoring food safety. And retailers pass these concerns up the chain to the product manufacturers, which also are beginning to see that they are considered crucial elements in the chain of responsibility for food safety. And at the end, as a result, food manufacturers are becoming increasingly cautious about what products carry their brand name. So also to do this, retailers use codex standards as an important guide, and established by a mix of scientific expert and government representative. Codex standards are designed to provide a view of the minimum standards for food handling, for ingredients, contaminants, etc. And these standards are let's say universally recognized as a proper standards for food safety. So in industrialized countries, the codex standards are considered important baseline against which food manufacturers can compare their food handling. So if you look during the 90s, there had been a series of high-profile international food safety crises, like including dioxin, listeria, etc. And within the food industry, there was a growing audit fatigue as retailers and brand manufacturers audited factories against their countless in-house standards, and each developed in isolation and with no consideration of the simplicity. So the results showed no consistency, and consumer and food industry confidence was low at the time. So the CEOs of the world food retailers, working through their independent network or the Food Business Forum, now it is the Consumer Goods Forum, agreed to take collaborative action. And in May 2000, the Global Food Safety Initiative and non-profit foundation was founded. So this is, let's say, some tracking of the food safety in retails. And if we look at the some buying facts, we can see that there is changes in people habits, but also in buying and thinking about food safety. And with this, we can say that 50% now are more concerned than 5 years ago. And there is a higher consciousness about what are the food safety demands. So customers are thinking about food safety. They are thinking about the product. They're thinking what do they bought, etc. And 40% have lost enjoyment of food because of concerns about its safety and quality. So this is very important, of course, from the point of view of retailer, but also us as consumers or the customer. There is also increased awareness about labels and ingredients, and also awareness about food intolerances, food allergies, and other conditions. So this is also uprising, so everybody's paying focus on the labels. And at the end, there is a setting aside more money to buy some fresh ingredients to prepare food at home. So this is also very important when we talk about home food safety. Okay, so if we look at the trends, we looked at some buying facts or something that is a customer demands. At the other side, we have some store trends that stores or big retailers are developing to be or to just have a good consumer expectations. And some store trends are developed according to changes in customer buying habits. So retailers are developing safer private brand products, and the focus here is to provide a product that are cheaper, simple, but also the safe. And earlier, safety of the product was consideration, but it was on a low level. And now there are developed whole programs just focusing on private brands as something that represents the retailer. So if I'm the retailer, I have my own brand. I want that my brand is something that I don't have a complaint, so I can say that my brand or my product is safe. Also, labeling programs, as noted earlier, is consideration of customer, but not only the labeling of products. So there is also in-store labeling, and with this in-store labeling, the retailers can provide unique and specific information about food safety aspects. Also, the interesting thing is the creation of standalone sections. This is also an uprising trend where retailers are focusing to provide more focused sections, like, for example, sections with healthy food. And with these standalone sections, we can provide more safer products, for example, or safer choices. Also, more and more trainings for employees are developing, and according to buying habits, there are trained staff for questions of ingredients, health benefit, and products. Also, what is important and what is a trend is more visible hygiene on fresh departments like meat, bakery, ready meals, fruit and vegetables. For example, in this region, it is very interesting to note that there is lots of in-store like fresh departments where you have a fresh meat, fresh bakery products, ready meals, etc. And if you want to buy on that, the customer demands are to have more visible hygiene. Also, at the end, safer fresh products is also demands of the customer, and in this area now the popular is packed meat in modified atmosphere, or some more reception controls of fruit and vegetables. Also, preparation of ready meals that is performed out of the store and just in store was presented in cabinets. And this is some trends that we can say is defined to 2015, but also is something that will be the thing for 2016 for the big retailers to define their goals. So with this, we can see that customer habits are practically affecting the trends of a retailer, the trends in the store. According to this, I agreed with Simon to have one pool question, and just to ask you as a consumer and someone who is going to a retailer, where is the first place when you enter the retail store where you notice the bad hygiene? Are that floors, is that shelves, or the uniforms of the employees, or maybe is it shopping carts? So please, Simon.
Yeah, that's live in the sidebar. I can see some of you already voting. Question is, where is the first place when you enter the retail store where you notice the bad hygiene? So we've got floors, shelves, uniforms, shopping carts. So can you see that, Vladimir?
Yeah, just a sec.
We've got, at the moment, it's about 38% shopping carts, and the same for floors. So shopping carts and floors are the main ones, and then shelves around 17%. Very little on uniforms or employees.
Very little.
That's strange. That's a strange one. You know, one of the things that I hear all the time, a big complaint from food manufacturers, food businesses, is the people serving, let's say, in the delicatessen in retail establishments, serving meat or cheese, or they don't wear hairnets and things like that. So, you know, the people who make the food have to wear hairnets, but the people who serve it, they don't wear it. You know, so
you know, for us, it is an interesting thing, because if we look at this region, we can say that there is a lot of the preparation process that is performed in store on a department. You know, so it is very important to look at the uniforms. You know, it's something that is let's say, to show the hygiene of the department and the person that are preparing the products, and etc. So, but okay. So for me, also interesting thing. The first thing that you notice, of course, would be the shopping carts. It is the thing that you take it, and the first thing which you have the contact before you enter the store, and of course, the floor is a big surface where you can notice the hygiene, and this is something that of course could be shown from the retailer point of view. What do they need to or how can they show the food safety, for example, of product, but also some hygiene aspects. Okay, Simon, so we can continue.
Yeah, continue. Yeah.
Okay, so let's look one study that shows what is the customer view of retail food safety? So this is the study. It was performed from Ecolab. So this is a leading company for production of cleaning agents in the world. I think that you are very familiar with that. And this study was performed in 2009, but still parts of this study is used in setting retail stores according to customer behavior and habits. So this study very clearly reveals that cleanliness, hygiene, and food safety represent highly relevant variables for grocery shopping. And this is, and Ecolab said that this is the way how they guarantee smooth and pleasant shopping experience, for example. So if you look what customers see and want, and it is said that supermarket shopping is not rational, it is a highly emotional process. Why? Because when you enter the store, you as a consumer want to leave behind all the burdens of the day-to-day dirt and the fears and worries, etc. And we all look at the attractive and authentic shopping where we can enjoy things and we don't need to worry. So poor cleanliness should not interfere with this experience, but also neither should glossy and sterile. So the first thing that is wanted is the authentic, lustful experience, and this is where consumers yearn for sensual, palpable worlds of experience that take in, I don't know, smelling or touching and tasting, and are made tangible by prettily arranged tasters at the meat or cheese counter, for instance. And for the consumer that were surveyed in this study, cleanliness in supermarket is represented by anything but a bare, polished and sterile shopping habitat. So on contrary, they seek some vibrant cleanliness, and that emphasizes the authenticity of product while also safeguarding it. On the other hand, we have the shopping habits sensually polished. So in order that the soil and potatoes does not become some everyday dirt, it is of importance that cleanliness in supermarkets have that overall sensual experience, and it is enhanced. So this involves some creating valuable cleanliness by conveying some appealing and convincing levels of authenticity. And here it is said that valuable cleanliness enhances product in terms of naturalness, health, appetite, taste, and safety. And as a result, consumers also perceive a sense of personal enhancement, since ultimately it is these products they are purchasing, and but caution also needs to be exercised. So overly polished and some shiny shopping habits offer a little credibility or appeal, and can threaten to evolve into overly stylized and glamorous world of art. So this means that we want our products to be clean, but not over clean, like polished apples, and it doesn't look naturally, for example. So this is the customer view. The third thing would be the proper basic cleaning, and as poll questions show, this is the cleaning of everything that customer sees, and the basis for some attractive and vibrant cleanliness in supermarket is good that basic cleaning. And classically this takes in floors, displays and shelf surfaces, fruit box, for example, walls, windows, and it is something that is seen by the customer. Specifically, this basic cleaning is seen by the customer while, for example, we as a customer are waiting at the meat counter, or we are waiting at the, to pay for everything, and while we are waiting, we can see all these things and that basic cleaning. Next thing is clear organization and order, and alongside this basic cleaning, in this study respondents saw another supermarket must to be clear and orderly layouts, and this is something that that is very important for the customer to see that everything is organized and it's in order, and this is also something that helps retailer in maintaining the hygiene, but also in tracking the products and food safety of the products. Next thing would be the attention and care to products, and this is also the point of the study performed by Ecolab. When we look at the orderly stores, they need to be carried for and tended. A fresh food counter, which is permanently deserted, so that consumers have to personally friend staff signals that nobody takes care of products or is solely responsible for this area. This is also important, and we looked at the training of the employees, and it was noted that it is a trend for the retailer, for the employees to know everything about the products, and for the consumer or us, we expect that staff will closely monitor fresh produce and to remove rotten fruit and wilted vegetables on their own initiative, and also to put discarded or dried out cheese and cold meat aside, etc. So this is attention and care to products. If we look that there is no attention and care to products, we cannot be convinced that there is a safe or food safe product. Also, the next thing is the last but also important, is radiating and inspiring atmosphere. And besides some caring and very practical aspects such as cleanliness and product care, also atmospheric elements also play an important role in shopping. If you look at the fluorescent cold versus warm lighting, which flatters apples, tangerines, and avocados, or maybe scruffy white versus fresh, appealing colors, abrasive and incompetent versus friendly, competent stuff, and giving a choice, there is no question as to which consumer optimal for. So also atmosphere is very important from the customer view of retail food safety. And this is all the points that were taken from the Ecolab, and this is customer view, or what customers see. On the other hand, we have what customer don't see and don't want, and this is something that we don't take care. For example, we can see the cleanliness of the shopping carts as the first point, and it was also said in this poll question. But the point is that shopping carts are the first object that customer touches after handling raw poultry meat in 85% of the time. So this is something to think about. Also, something that we don't see is the meat handlers. For example, it is the employees that are responsible for raw meat and meat products. They must wash hands and change gloves more often than on other departments in store. But this is something that we don't see, or maybe we don't think about. The third thing would be flies on fruit and vegetables. They should be removed with insect lamps during the night, for example, or with some other proper means, but not by using commercial insecticides. So in many retailers, you could have the staff that are not trained, and they're using some commercial insecticides, and they are getting on the fruit and vegetable that is sold. Second thing is the ready meals. We have displayed meals, but sometimes they are heated, reheated, and sometimes for the shelf life of that product, they are rewritten or extended even shelf life. This is something that we don't want, but also this is something that we must take care of. Frozen products, defrosted and frozen many times. We can also check that while we are buying. If we touch that frozen products and see that there is a big parts that are frozen again, that means that maybe that product was defrosted. Packaging is something that we look, but the thing is that we want that for the fresh products, we don't want packaging that deforms or transfer color, for example. Bakery products, also smells and taste on cleaning agents. For example, this is something that we don't want, but also is something that we can see while we are buying, but also thing to take care and to consider. So with this, we are coming to the next poll question. So I'm asking again Simon to show that poll question. And this is, so what are the main things about food safety that you take care when buying? Is it labels and shelf life of product, or you just take care of the good condition of product, or do you think about cross-cart contamination? Or hygiene of store and employees. So what are the main things that you take care when you are buying? Okay, Simon, so please.
Okay. Yeah, I've set that in the slide.
Okay.
What are the main things about food safety that you take care when buying? Obviously, they're all important.
Of course.
The main one is labels and shelf life. I can hear my voice coming back out of your speakers. So we've got labels and shelf life 50, just over 50%. Good condition of product 28. And hygiene of store and employees 23. And not much at all for cross-cart contamination. You're back on webcam, you know, you're not sharing your PowerPoint.
Yes, I know. I want to watch the poll, and I see that many of the consumers are looking at the labels and shelf life. Okay, I think that's the one thing to take care. You know, if you want to look at the shelf life, that's of course the important thing. But I think that also good condition of product and storing of that product is important. You know, maybe you will have the shelf life that is noted on labels, but if you look at that products, you know, just on condition of storing, it's also something to think about, and that's important also.
Okay, right, I'll end that poll there. Thank you. Right, carry on there.
Okay, so we are continuing. Okay, but let's look at the habits for buying safely. So this is all the things that we are looking when we are buying, but let's look at some habits for buying safely. And for the first thing, you should plan your trip around the grocery store and make it the last stop before going home. Also, you could use a shopping list, shop for non-perishable foods first, and followed by frozen and refrigerated items, and such as meats, fish, eggs, dairy products, and deli meats. Also, we noticed about or we mentioned cross-cart contamination. Okay, avoid cross-cart contamination. That means to separate meat, fish, and poultry products from other foods by placing them in, for example, plastic bags, and separate part of your cart so juices won't leak and cross-contaminate other foods. Also, separate non-food items such as cleaning and hygiene supplies from food in your cart. Also, buy food in a good condition. This is that means that cold foods should be cold to the touch, and frozen foods should be solidly frozen. Pay attention on sell-by or use-by and expiration dates on perishable products. So if the sell-by date has expired, do not buy the product. The use-by date applies to as at home after purchase. It is important to note that these dates refer to quality of food, like taste, texture, smell, or appearance, and they are not a guarantee of an uncontaminated product, particularly if the original packaging is open. Also, expiration dates are used to notify the consumers when the food is not safe to eat. So this is some let's say habits for buying safely and to take care when you are in store. And after you buy your product, you have to think about safety of that product on the way home. So take food straight home after grocery shopping. If this is not possible, you could use coolers or insulated bags if travel time from store to home will be longer than 1 hour. Also put the groceries in the air-conditioned part of the car when it is hot outside. When we talked about cross-cart contamination, this means also when you pull it out from the cart and put it in your car to prevent cross-contamination in the car. Also, when you get home, immediately refrigerate or freeze perishable items, and of course check the temperature of the refrigerator and the freezer before you put your groceries away. So this is something that we often we are doing, but sometimes we are in a hurry, sometimes we don't have time, and we don't think about safety or our products, but this is also important things to have a safe product. When we come home, of course, we have a home food safety, and the 4 important things are wash, separate, refrigerate, and cook. And this is 4 simple things for all of you to remember. First thing would be washing, and of course we have to think about hand washing in every time while we are preparing the product. Also, to keep separate cutting boards for raw meat, poultry, and seafood, and a different one for ready-to-eat and cooked foods. Also, clean and sanitize cutting boards after each use. In this case, plastic cutting boards can be easily cleaned in a dishwasher, for example, and in many cases it is better to use the plastic cutting boards. The second thing would be to wash the lids of canned foods just before opening them to prevent dirt from getting into the food. And of course, the important thing here is to clean the can opener blade after every use. So this is very important, and so we should think about things. Do we do it in our home? Also, take some appliances apart, like food processors, like meat grinders and blenders, and right after you use them, and clean and sanitize them thoroughly. Air dry dishes and utensils if you can, or dry them with some kitchen towels. And of course, wash and sanitize towels, pans, and clothes often to prevent bacteria from growing. Clean the pantry regularly, keep food off the floor, store food in sealed containers. Also thoroughly wash and sanitize containers and utensils that were in contact with raw food before you reuse them. And of course, at the end, if you have an infection or cut on your hand, just cover it with a bandage and then wear disposable gloves when preparing food. And here also to remember is that when you wear gloves, they also pick up bacteria too, so change gloves frequently and wash glove hand as often as bare hands. The second thing we said is separate. I also mentioned to separate cutting boards, and here is that bacteria can spread through cross-contamination, and this occurs when raw meat or poultry or seafood and eggs come in contact with ready-to-eat foods like bread and vegetables, so keep them separate. Also, when handling raw meat, poultry, and seafood, always use separate cutting boards, plates, and utensils from ready-to-eat foods, and never place cooked food on a plate that previously held something like raw meat. Also, this is something while shopping, for example, at the grocery store, just keep this also separated in a shopping cart or during bagging. And also, when we talk about storing, so also to keep raw meat and poultry in the refrigerator to prevent bacteria from spreading and the juices from dripping on ready-to-eat foods, for example. So separate everywhere where you prepare the food or store the food or handling the food products. Next thing is practically the refrigerate, and refrigeration slows down most bacterial growth, while freezing can't stop the growth of most bacteria. Chilling this is something to remember. chilling won't kill bacteria, only some proper cooking will kill bacteria. And so you shouldn't let bacteria just to grow or get a foothold. So after you shop, that's why I said it is important to immediately put away food that needs to be refrigerated or frozen. And I said also to check the temperature of your fridge and freezer. So for the temperature, you can use the thermometer to check the temperature, for example, and also to check the temperature of the freezer. Here, important thing is to don't overload your fridge and freezer, because some cool air must circulate freely to keep food properly chilled. If it's overloaded, then the parts of the food can be properly chilled and you have a growing bacteria. Also important is to clean the refrigerator, to keep it clean, because everything that could be spilled or some juices from the raw product could be the places for the microorganisms and bacteria. And also, as I said, bacteria can be carried in raw meat juices, so place some raw meat or poultry and seafood on the bottom shelves on the refrigerator. Use also containers that are large enough to prevent that raw juices from dripping onto or touching other food. And also here important thing would be the thawing. And once food is thawed in the refrigerator, it is safe to refreeze it without cooking, although there could be some loss of quality due to the moisture loss through defrosting. Also, after cooking raw foods which were previously frozen, it is safe to freeze the cooked foods. And if previously cooked foods are thawed in the refrigerator, sometimes you may refreeze the unused portion. And this is something that, for example, for the USDA, it recommends the 3 ways for example, to defrost and to defrost turkeys. For example, in the refrigerator, in cold water, and in the microwave. And it is said that never defrost turkey on the counter or in another location. It is best to plan ahead for some slow and safe thawing in the refrigerator. And it is said to allow about 1 day for every 5 pounds of turkey to thaw in the refrigerator. So this is some important points for the refrigerator, like freezing food and defrosting. Next thing would be the cooking. So here, what to say? What is safe internal temperature for cooking meat and poultry? For all raw beef, pork, lamb, and veal steak, chops, and etc. Internal temperature measured in food with the food thermometer would be more than 60 Celsius degrees. For safety and quality, it is needed to allow meat to rest for at least 3 minutes before carving or consuming. And for reason of personal preference, consumers or you can also choose to cook meat to higher temperatures. For raw ground beef, pork and lamb and veal, some internal temperature would be the most appropriate, more than 75 Celsius degrees, and it is measured with food thermometer. And poultry also to a minimum internal temperature of 75 degrees. This is also when we look at the microwave cooking. For the microwave cooking, you have to arrange food items evenly in a covered dish and add some liquid, maybe if needed. And to cover this dish with a lid or a plastic wrap, loosen or bend the lid or wrap to let steam escape. And the moist heat that is created will help to destroy some that harmful bacteria and ensure uniform cooking. Also here you can use some cooking bags. They also provide safe and even cooking. And of course, it is said that you don't need to cook large cuts of meat on high power. And large cuts of meat you should cook on medium power for longer periods, and this allows heat to reach the center without overcooking outer areas. Also, next thing would be the microwave reheating. So also here you can cover food with a lid or microwave safe plastic wrap to hold in moisture and provide safe and even heating. And when we talk about heating ready-to-eat foods such as hot dogs or fully cooked ham and leftovers until steaming hot, and this is for the reheating. It is said that after reheating foods in the microwave, you can allow some standing time and use a clean food thermometer to check the temperature, and temperature should be more than 75 Celsius degrees. And this is also important when you look at some additional cooking temperatures. So they are in soil and the foods we eat, and when bacteria have some nutrients or food and they are increasing in numbers to the point where some types of bacteria can cause illness. And bacteria grow most rapidly in the range of temperatures from 4 Celsius degrees to 60 Celsius degrees, and some doubling even in number as little as 20 minutes. And sometimes will produce toxins also that are not destroyed by cooking. So that pathogenic bacteria do not generally affect the taste, smell, or appearance of a food. And in other words, one cannot tell that food has been mishandled or is dangerous to eat. For example, for a food that has been left too long on the counter may be dangerous to eat, but could smell and look fine. So if a food has been left in some danger zone between 4 and 60 Celsius degrees for more than 2 hours, you should discard it, even though it may look and smell good. So the most important here to remember is to never taste the food, to see it if it's spoiled. If you think that it's been too long out, you shouldn't taste it. Just Edmir, and just one point that I want to say to you is to think where and what kind of food you are buying, to check everything, also to take care about every food safety aspect. And at the end, when you come to home, please create habits about wash, about separate, refrigerate, and cook in your kitchen. So this is it for this. Thank you. So now I'm expecting your questions. Simon,
okay,
please.
yeah, good, well done,
Yeah.
Vladimir, thank you very much, that was great. It's actually quite interesting to get into the shoes of the well, we're all consumers, but often we don't think about these things, but also the mindset of the retailer. And I wonder, when we talked about the different things that people look at when related to food safety when they go to a store, and floors, uniforms, blah blah blah. Quite a few people said shopping carts, and I wonder how much attention retailers actually pay to shopping carts. I think that'd probably be something that's quite neglected. Do you think so?
Yeah, I think so. If you look at the shopping carts, even in shopping bags, you can see that there is a lot of shopping carts that hygiene is not on a high level, and it is something very important to be to have safe products. But for a retailer, when he look at the consumer, he can say, okay, but you don't put that products directly in contact with shopping cart. You have a packaging that will protect that product, and maybe the shopping cart doesn't need to have such great hygiene, but it is the first thing that consumer sees when he enters the store, and it is the place where you put the products. You know, sometimes something could be spilled, and this is also the point of the hygiene, etc.
Yeah. Yeah. And Frank actually typed in at that point, shopping cart, child seats, evidence of leaky diapers, especially in warm months. That doesn't paint a very nice picture of hygiene at all.
Totally not.
I mean, one thing which was quite interesting, I thought, you know, when you said clean but not too clean, things can be dirty, and things like, if I think of potatoes, you know, you don't want potatoes to be shiny and white and clean, because they seem too sanitized, false, and maybe not organic, not from the earth. So it's good to have dirt in the right places.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, for the customer experience, it is important to see that something came from especially for the fresh product, that something came from the nature, that is something that is new, you know. And there were some trend, you saw it, that customer wants for a safe product to have maybe meat products that are packed in modified atmosphere. But for example, in some countries, meat is coming back as a trend, you know, and people want to see the meat handlers to cut their meat, to slice it in the way they want it, or, you know, so it's naturally products, you know.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're ready to take some questions now. So let's have a look through the sidebar, see if we can pick up on some of them.
Okay.
I mean, I can see one there, Lupita. Why is it advised not to refreeze something that has been previously frozen? If you refreeze something, why shouldn't you refreeze it?
Okay, I see the question for the products that are refreeze. You know, you don't know how many times it was refreeze before you frozen it. For example, if you are buying a product in a store and maybe there is that refrigerator is not working good, and maybe that product was also refreezed and again freezed, and you are taking that product to the home and freezing it again, etc. So you have the bacteria rising in that product, and at the end, when you defreeze it and want to consume that product, you will have a very big you know, number of bacteria that can harm you. That doesn't affect, of course, if you are going to cook that product on a high temperature. But for refreezing, it is very important to think about how many times that was refreezed or frozen again, for example.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maria came up with a question: what to do if the retail store is not following good hygiene? Who should you address that with?
Of course, you should address that to the manager of the store. For example, I would do that to the manager of the store, but also I would say that to the, you know, maybe some quality department, for example, or just send it as a customer complaint to the retailer on their mail, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I've done the same, Vladimir. I've challenged directly the store when, for example, something's really dirty on the shelves, or something's got a use by date and they're standing on the shelf and the expiry date's gone past, you know, and I take it to them and say, you know, potentially you're putting people's health at risk. And often they look at you astonished and don't understand that you're you know, but you must challenge them. And if you don't get any joy with the store, you can always go to the health department. Every
Yes.
region's got a health department. Okay, any more questions? David, how will you store ready-to-eat high-risk foods away from raw meat in the refrigerator? How will you store?
Ready to eat high-risk food away from raw meat in the refrigerator. I said it. You can take the raw meat and put it in a separate containers. If you put it in a separate containers, you know, you can then just separate it from the everything that is in the practically production or in a refrigerator, and also you can separate any kind of food in, for example, some glass or plastic containers. So if you separate it, you don't have any problems. And of course, you can put it on a lower shelf, so there is no juices from raw products that is coming on other ready-to-eat products.
Okay, Sanjay did ask a question about preventing metal pieces when opening cans, but I think somebody actually answered that and said use a colander to take out anything. Have we got any further questions for Vladimir? Maybe not. Okay, they're all satisfied. They're all going to go shopping this weekend. They're going to be looking at the floors. They're going to be looking at the floors, the uniforms, the carts, and they're going to be challenging the supermarkets. And quite rightly, they should do, because the retailers challenge all of us, so we should challenge them to do.
Of course.
Food safety. Okay, thanks very much, Vladimir. I know you've done 4 presentations this year. They've all been very informative, very interesting, and we're going to try and get you back next year for 2016 to do some more. So thank you.
I hope to see you again, of course.
Yeah, thanks on behalf of the IFSQN and Food Safety Fridays and all the attendees today, Vlad. And I'll speak to you soon. Take care.
Take care. Thank you.
That was great, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing left is your certificate that I'm loading in the sidebar now. You should be able to download that when it appears. Just click on that. It opens a window, and then on the right-hand side, you should see the certificate to download. If you can't download it today directly, I'll be following up with an email in 24 hours, within 24 hours, with your certificate, the recording, and the slides. Next week, we've got Oscar Rodriguez Gonzalez, who's going to be talking about integrated management systems. Obviously, some of us run systems in tandem, you know, quality, food safety, environmental, health and safety, sustainability, etc., etc., etc. And it's much better to have them integrated into one system to be more effective and efficient and to utilize your resources most effectively. So Oscar's going to be giving us some tips on that, which should be very useful. Okay, so thanks once again to Vladimir Suchinsky for the presentation today. Thanks for your attendance. Thanks for taking part and interacting with the polls, etc. Have a great day. Have a food safe day. Have a lovely Friday and really enjoy your weekend and come fighting fit back into next week. Okay, take care, everybody.